Do you have garden plants that spread aggressively? Watch this and I'll teach you how to contain them. Have you ever bought some really nice looking flowers at a nursery and they looked great the first year, and the second year they seemed to fill in really well, but by year 2 or 3 they were just everywhere, popping up 10, 20 feet away from where you originally planted them? Well, unfortunately, you're not alone. Many of us have, and I'm going to explain why this can happen, give some common examples of plants that do this, and then I'll show you how to keep them in check. All plants have the ability to spread, primarily via seed, but some also have another ability to do so by something called rhizomes. Often when someone says a plant can be really aggressive or invasive, really what it is the species they're talking about is a rhizome producer. What are rhizomes? Well, they often look like these white or cream-colored fleshy roots, and not all plants can produce them. But the thing is they're not actually roots, but underground horizontal stems. They creep along underground looking for a place to send up a new shoot. Eventually this will form its own roots and basically be a clone of the mother plant. Now, the most famous example of plants that do this in North America would probably be either common milkweed, showy milkweed, or Canadian goldenrod. But some other examples of plants that will do this would be certain types of ironweed, bee balm, obedient plant, and various perennial sunflowers. And even many types of turf grasses will spread by this too, if you saw my other recent video on this topic. Now, you can buy a number of these plants from nurseries, and if you threw them into a flower bed, the first year they'll be fine. The second year you'll probably think they're just, have a little modest spreading, but afterwards these are going to have the potential to pop up all over the bed and even into your grass. So how do we stop them? Well, right now I'm going to give you a virtually foolproof solution that will work for basically any of these plants that I've tested it with. And basically all you're going to get is a large pot, the larger the better, at least 9 inches, and then you're going to line it with landscape fabric and then bury that pot in the ground and plant your plant inside of it. The landscape fabric and the pot walls will act as a physical barrier to the rhizomes escaping the area. They can't punch through the pot walls nor the fabric. Now, I've done this with pots as small as 9 inches diameter by roughly 9 inches deep, and that has kept the most aggressive species contained. For some species with larger rhizomes, I just made sure the drainage holes would be covered, and for the plants with the tiny rhizomes, like world milkweed, I lined the full pot with the landscape fabric because I was afraid that maybe the tiny rhizomes would be able to creep in between the landscape fabric and the pot wall, work their way down to the drainage holes, and voila, they escape. So I did that as a preventative measure. But I first started doing this method in 2021, and since then I have had exactly 1 rhizome escape the container in 4 years. And that occurred last year, and I'm showing it to you now. Everything else has always been fully contained. In these pots, for the one I'm showing you, this was a bee balm, I only lined the drainage holes, not the full length pot. Had I lined the full container, I believe it would have worked and prevented even this single escapee. But in all these containers, to only have 1 successful root escape in 4 years, I would call that very successful. But here are more shots of dug up containers after several years. All the rhizomes are contained. Okay, so now that I've told you what to do and kind of showed you how it works, let's go through some of the history on it. What all species have I tried this with? World milkweed. It's worked for 3 years. Obedient plant and bee balm, it has worked for 4 years, except for that 1 escapee as I showed you. Satan's sunflower, aka Helianthus strumos, 4 years. Common and Missouri ironweed, 3 solid years. There is one very important piece of information you need to know about this method though. Depending on the growing conditions and the afternoon sunlight, you may need to provide supplemental water to the plants. So there's not much moisture transfer between what's contained inside these pots and the surrounding soil. So some moisture will transfer through the landscape fabric via osmosis on the drainage holes. But in my experience, this may not be enough to meet the demands of the plant. For plants that get morning sun and early afternoon sun, it seems to be okay. But if they're going to bake in the hot afternoon sun, I find that I need to water them. Also, the overall size of the plant may be reduced, and this shouldn't be too surprising as their available volume for roots is going to be much less. Now, as you're watching this, you may ask yourself, this landscape fabric, this might be overkill. Maybe I could just bury a large plastic edge around the plant or plant it inside a pot with the bottom cut out. Well, I'd like to share my experience with that. And well, the answer to whether or not you can get away with it is that it all depends on the species. You see, the first time I tried this method was on a particularly aggressive species of sunflower, Helianthus strumose. And when I was a bit younger and naive in my native gardening journey, I didn't have any idea that this plant would spread as aggressively as it did. I should have read the fine print because it is one of the most aggressive plants I've ever encountered. Here it is in the second year. So by the third year after I started growing this plant with no barriers at all, I had it popping up everywhere in my backyard wildflower garden. And I went crazy trying to contain it all. I tried to dig up all the rhizomes I could, and I figured I would contain it by planting it inside of a pot, a deep pot with the bottom cut out. And so I did that with several shoots and figured I'd be okay. However, it failed miserably. Here it is in the second year. I found plants that were shooting up outside of the pots. So I excavated them to investigate, and sure enough, the rhizomes grew straight downwards along the wall of the container, so at least 9 inches deep, then out and up, making multiple shoots outside of the pot. So obviously the rhizomes just went right down the bottom, over and up. That was a big problem. But this failure of the bottom cutout is what drove me to innovate and just line a whole pot with landscape fabric. Say, okay, let's see if this really works. And it has. I've never had anything escape the pots lined with landscape fabric from this species of flower. Now, granted, years and years ago, I never contained the original outbreak. You have to get every little bit of rhizome, and I never did. So I still have this thing kind of running through the prairie, although it's so overgrown with competition now that it doesn't take over. Okay, but now let's talk about a case where you can use the pot with the bottom cut out and no landscape fabric. Through experimentation, I've found some species whose rhizomes will not go so deep, and you can plant them in a container with the bottom cut out, and it'll work as long as the wall goes deep enough, which really doesn't need to be more than 4 or 5 inches. I discovered this working on Virginia mountain mint for a few years, and since I've tried it on 4 different mountain mint species, and I'm happy to report that it has worked on all of them. Like I said, it really all depends on the species. But okay, let's review. Some popular gardening plants will spread via underground rhizomes all over your garden. If you want to maintain a tidy look and keep them contained, you can do that with pretty much any species by planting them in a large container, at least 9 inches diameter and deep, lined with landscape fabric to block the rhizomes. Know that while this method will keep it contained, depending on the conditions, it may need supplemental water during hot or dry periods, or depending on where you planted it. So monitor your plants during that time and water accordingly. Okay, that's all I've got for you. If you got any questions, please ask them in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. All the info I shared, along with some other pics, are in an article at my website that you may wish to see for further reference. I'll link to that below. So head over there if you want, as you may find some other useful info. But all right, you guys all have a good one.